whatever you do, don't fall asleep.
Welcome to Talking Horror with Jamie and Nikisha.
Hey everybody, producer Brian here. Before we start our 2022 horror movie recap episode, I just want to remind everybody that this is your spoiler alert. We are going to talk about a lot of the movies that came out in 2022, and we want to make sure that we gave you a spoiler alert before we ruin something for you. So enjoy the episode.
Hi, I'm Jamie.
And I'm Nikisha, and this is Talking Horror with Jamie,
And Nikisha.
where we share our love for spooky things and talk horror through the lens of human behavior. Welcome, everyone. And happy almost New Year to you, because we are doing our 2022 horror year in review. I just made that up just now. So we're talking all things that came out in the 2022 year that we saw, even things that we might not have necessarily covered on the podcast. A lot has come out, especially now with Shudder giving all of the OG original movies. So I'm super excited. You're going to hear our top 10, our honorable mentions, our most disappointing, so many other things. And I'll probably let Brian get into all of it because there's so many different categories. We're going to talk about all the things. Super excited to hear everyone's thoughts on things, especially their top 10s. So Brian, do you want to give us some words before we get into everything?
Yeah, absolutely. So, hi everybody. Hi YouTube. How are you?
Hi.
Yeah, we're on YouTube. We're in your ears on all podcasts. You can also find us on all social media at Talk Horror Pod. We're doing some fun things all over social media, on TikTok, on Twitter, on Instagram. So check us out there. But thank you for listening to us this year and years past, and for continuing to listen to us. We really, really appreciate it. So thanks for sticking around. It's going to be I'm really excited for this episode, Nikisha. I just need to let you know that over the past week, I've watched 11 movies catching up.
That is absolutely wild to me that you've watched so many. I mean, you have become, from the person who didn't really watch horror movies or the genre in general, you've always been a movie person. We've known that. Yeah. But the fact that you are now becoming like the horror it guy is pretty fantastic, and I will attribute it all to Jamie.
Yeah. I mean, I'm
not even watching all of them with him. He's doing it on his own. He's just, he loves homework. He's just taking it upon himself to be a studious horror aficionado. And yeah.
We love to see it.
I was never into slashers until this, so this is very like outside of thrillers and psychological stuff. I've been really enjoying it. I watched 11 movies. No, I watched 11
movies.
Yes.
I do have a question, because I had to kind of go back and write down all of the movies that I saw. Do you guys, before we get into it, do you have a total number of 2022 horror movies that you have watched this year?
Oh.
And I'm asking you guys on the fly, but I just want to know if you happen to have a number, because I wrote mine down and thought I did not watch as much as I probably should have.
Yeah. I have a list, and this is only movies that came out in 2022. Yes. My list is much bigger than this in terms of all the horror movies that I watched in 2022, but I watched 30.
My gosh. I think I only capped at, 16? 17? What about you, Jamie?
I'm somewhere in between the two of you. Because there's some that I know I caught up with Brian, but there were some where I was like, you can watch this.
It's like, I don't need to watch this.
So this is, I'll list out what I watched, and I'll list out what I didn't see that I actually think would have made my list. There's a potential that it could have made my list. I just can't say everything. It is what it is.
For sure.
So not in any order. This is what I watched: Barbarian, Orphan First Kill, Smile, Scream 5, Halloween Ends, X, Nope, Fresh, Prey, They/Them, Master, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Resurrection, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, Morbius, The Black Phone, Beast, Dashcam. Dashcam has an asterisk next to it because it technically came out in 2021, but the public couldn't get access to it until this year, so I counted it for 2022.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bodies, 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 Speak No Evil, No Exit, Incantation, Torn Hearts, Watcher, Fall, Hatching, Skinamarink, Violent Night, and The Invitation.
Okay, I do have a question though. Are we really counting Doctor Strange as a horror movie?
Yes.
Yes.
I am.
Okay. I mean, I haven't seen it. I didn't see it.
Oh,
which is why, because I'm just thinking like,
definitely.
Marvel, would you ever say this is horror Marvel?
Yes, when you hire the like quintessential horror, one of the best horror directors in my opinion, to direct it.
Who directed it?
Yes. Sam Raimi.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Who did like Evil Dead and stuff.
Yes.
Okay.
Then I'll leave it.
So these are the movies that I have not seen that I do think that would be somewhere on a list. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Bones and All.
Oh, yeah.
The Menu.
Yes.
Those are the two that I actually think would have made a list somewhere. Terrifier 2.
Yes.
Nanny. Crimes of the Future, the new Cronenberg movie. Hellraiser. Wendell and Wild. Hellbender. Men. And I know Jamie saw it. I don't know if you did, but I didn't see Deadstream.
No, I didn't see that either.
Yeah. Then there's like You Won't Be Alone, Mr. Harrington's Phone, Unhuman, the Spirit Halloween movie, Choose or Die. I didn't see any of those, but those were other popular titles this year. Yeah, that's
One
what
of
I
those
did. And
definitely made one of my other lists that we'll talk about.
excellent. But
Nice.
yeah, that's. Did I say Pearl?
I don't think you said Pearl.
No.
Oh, okay. Third. Okay, no. Okay, I didn't say it before. That's what makes it 30. Pearl makes it 30. I said 30 before, so it's still
Okay.
it's at 30. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. Oh my god, I was so nervous. Yeah, so those are the movies that I watched that came out this year. Again, my list is probably in the 50s or 60s, just horror movies.
Yeah. I did recount and I'm at 20. So I did watch 20. So I
Nice.
feel better about myself that it's that.
Sure.
I would love to add to your list of things that I haven't seen that I would probably make the list because you basically listed all of my same things except for the movie Piggy. Did we ever talk about that?
No, we didn't.
No.
That's a great one. Piggy and
Yeah.
like Run, Sweetheart, Run.
Yeah. I definitely want to find time to watch that one because
That's a good one.
hooey.
Yeah. There's some other Shudder originals that were supposed to be good, but I didn't see.
Yeah. I'm just waiting on Shudder to sponsor us so that we can
I know. Come on,
Shudder.
Shudder, get over here. Get over here,
Get
Shudder. Come
over
on.
here.
Get over here.
you start tagging them in all of your TikToks, Brian, so they can pay attention.
I know. But something else I want to add about all these movies is that what we're going to be doing. So I didn't even mention in this list of stuff like all the hours of horror television that we watched, like the 2 seasons of Stranger Things.
Yes.
We watched Severance. We watched The Midnight Club. Like, there's a ton of horror TV stuff, to just name a couple, Wednesday, that we watched. But, like, I'm going to be honest, I didn't include TV shows on my lists. But, like, that's neither here nor there. But, yeah, like, that doesn't even count. Like, another big one, I didn't watch, Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio. I didn't watch any of Cabinet of Curiosities, and I didn't watch the Netflix movie Troll.
Okay. I mean, there was just so much. It's
much.
a little overwhelming, but yeah. And you thought another one, Brian?
Hocus Pocus
sure.
2.
Oh, yeah. So now you're at 31.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think anything. Wait,
So
you
much.
didn't watch Don't Worry, Darling, did you?
No.
Okay. Yeah, I think everything that you've watched. Yeah, I did. I watched it because it's on HBO, right? It's streaming on HBO right now.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you talked about that on an episode, and we're supposed to talk about it once we watch it.
Yes. But I think other than that, everything you've watched, I've watched. You put The Northman on there, didn't you?
I don't know if I consider that horror.
Oh, okay.
Are you counting that as horror?
We covered it
because we covered it.
So I'm at 32.
Yeah.
Okay. Just
I'm at 32.
Adding to the list.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Right. So to start, let's start with disappointing.
Okay.
So each of us came up with 5 disappointments we had this year. And I also have an honorable mention on there, so feel free to add a 6th if you want as an honorable mention.
7.
But we will we will go into these top 5 disappointing. Let's do these individually and separately.
Cool.
So Nikisha, why don't you start? Why don't you give us your honorable mention and your top 5 disappointments? I would love for you to rank them. And we'll start that way. Let's start with disappointments.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't rank them because it was kind of an equal level of disappointment for different reasons.
Sure.
And you threw in an honorable mention at me. I mean, I feel like I'm not ready, but I do have one. So my honorable mention for disappointment would be The Northman. Sorry, not sorry. But again, we talked about this when we covered it on the podcast. It's a specific type of movie with a specific type of mental headspace that you need to be in for it. And it's a upper echelon, higher level movie that I think it was just over my head. So it was disappointing. But the acting was great, which I just appreciate that. So starting at number 5 for most disappointing, I would say is Halloween Ends.
Okay.
No need to explain that.
Totally.
The next one would be The Black Phone at number 4. And then I want to say VHS 99 as number 3.
I'm at 33 movies.
You didn't put that one?
Oh, man.
Goodness gracious. Okay. And then number 2, most disappointing, They/Them. I just, it could have been so much more, but we talked about this also in the podcast. Representation is representation, even if it might be mediocre. Like, just keep putting things in the atmosphere, and then hopefully something will stick and land on the bullseye. But They/Them was most disappointing. Sorry, Kevin Bacon. And number 1 disappointing was Don't Worry, Darling for me, because it had so much potential to be great, and I think that the performances were great and the concept was great, but the writing was not. So the whole storyline for me just didn't work out when you had, and it's sad because you had such a powerhouse of actors that could have done so much, but you can only do so much if the writing is bad. So those are my top 5.
Great. Those are solid.
Yeah.
Jamie, I want to hear yours.
Okay. So I'll also go from least worst to most worst.
Okay.
And I have 2 honorable mentions, or should I say 2 dishonorable mentions?
There it is.
So starting at number 7, most disappointing, I have Dashcam, because it that main character is just so unwatchable that it, despite the effects and stuff being really cool, it was just very hard to sit through that movie. Number 6, I have, this is where some of my list aligns with Nikisha. Number 6, I have Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Wait, now I just got really anxious that I got I double checked them right. Okay. I got really anxious about the years. The years are really tripping me up. This year felt like an eternity. Okay.
Yeah.
So 6 is Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It was just, it wasn't very good. Number 5, Halloween Ends. I too was disappointed by Corey. The beginning was great, and then everything else was kind of a bummer. But like Jamie Lee Curtis lives forever.
Sure.
Number 4, I have The Black Phone. It just wasn't for me. It didn't really. I didn't really care for it. Number 3, I have They Slash Them. Again, I agree with you, Nikisha. Just super disappointing. But like, we need more representation. But like, hopefully, it's better. All right, here's where things diverge. This is where I had to double check because I got really anxious. Number 2. It's Mighty Morbin time. It's Morbius. What an abomination of a film. Truly terrible, nearly unwatchable.
Oh, God.
I literally forgot that movie came out this year, but I think it did. So I'm still good. And now again, I'm anxious, but I think I'm still right. Number 1, even worse than Morbius, which is shocking, truly. Number 1, worst, most disappointing movie I watched this year, Choose or Die, was so dumb and bad. Why?
Wait.
It was awful. I hate this movie. I can't believe. So I watched it by myself when I forget where Brian was, and it was just so bad. Oh wait, maybe he was on his bachelor party weekend.
Oh, maybe.
Quite possibly. But man, it was so boring. And it was dumb. It was just like super dumb. I was shocked at how stupid it was. Like I remember actively texting Brian and being like, this is like just so devoid of any like thought. It's really bad. So that shot right up to the top. You thought it'd be Morbi, but it wasn't Morbi.
But no Morbi. Can I tell you, I started that movie and it was so bad that I stopped it and never finished it.
So you only watched,
I don't know, maybe it'll get better.
You only watched Choose.
You watched Choose, you didn't watch Die.
I did not watch Die. I couldn't. The choices were already bad. I didn't want to know what happened.
Not good. No bueno.
That's a good list,
man,
Jamie. That's really good.
All
right.
I'll quickly go through mine because they overlap with you quite a bit. My honorable mention, I threw that as a TV show, Midnight Club. Just I didn't hate it at all. I really enjoyed quite a bit of it, but overall, with Flanagan's name on it, just disappointing for me. 5, I have Texas Chainsaw Massacre. 4, I have Halloween Ends. 3, most disappointing, I have Dash Cam. 2, I have The Black Phone. And to me, the most disappointing movie of the year was They Slash Them. Just because I just wanted a good, solid slasher that wasn't exactly easy to guess, that did the representation justice. And like that just like totally sunk the boat for me. Which is funny because Kevin Bacon's Daughter's movie is very high on my other list, and we'll get to those. But yeah, so those are my disappointing ones. It seems like we're on the same page with those ish.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't think we ever discussed on the podcast, though, that the Midnight Club got canceled. Yes?
Right, we didn't.
Yeah.
We released it the day it got canceled.
Oh, no.
But
R.I.P.
There's a great, I think I sent it to you, Nikisha.
I think so.
Instagram thread that goes through the answers to all of the questions that have been left hanging in the Midnight Club as answered by Mike Flanagan. He's like, hey, this is what we were going to do over the next 2 seasons. Like, these are the answers to everything. So if you look for that, totally worth it. Some really interesting things, but like, oh well.
It was going to be 2 more seasons?
Well, I think it was going to be 1 more season with who's left from this cast, and then like new kids would come in and it just like would keep going ish.
Gotcha.
Alas, poor York. Cool. So here's a question: do you want to do your top 10 horror movies, or do we want to go into like our top 3 moments?
Ooh, let's do moments.
Okay.
Okay, let's do moments. Jamie, why don't you start with your moments since you're excited?
So I'm going to preface this by saying when I said top 3 best moments, I took this as top 3 best moments in horror in 2022.
Okay.
Because and I'm going to go backwards because you're all going to laugh at me. We're all going to laugh at you. Okay, so
I feel like I know what's going to be on there.
My number 3 best moment is from a movie. It is from the film Barbarian, and it is the sequence when Bill Skarsgård gets his head smashed in by Mom for the first time, and it jump cuts to Justin Long, and you're just left there being like, what the hell just happened?
Yep.
What is going on? Is this a new movie? So that's my number 3 best moment. My number 2 best moment of the year is from Orphan First Kill, when we are, once again with our little Esther, who's not as little, but they make it work. And she has snuck into the detective's home and is about to kill him, presumably. And out of nowhere, Julia Stiles comes in and shoots the detective.
Yeah.
And what a great moment. But beyond that, my number 1 best moment for horror in 2022 is not a film yet, but a trailer release.
I knew it. I knew it.
When that Megan trailer dropped, my heart stopped and left my body. And I was like, I have never been more excited for a film. I don't even remember the last time. But yes, the Megan trailer dropping is my number 1 moment for horror in 2022.
Yes.
Man, what a trailer. And just like the pop culture icon that she's become before this movie has even been released. I would almost have to include when it had its debut, whatever it's called.
Premiere.
And they had premiere? Yeah, and they had the people dressed up like her doing the dance at the premiere. How absurd. I'm so excited for that movie to come out. So, trailer drop.
And also the Twitter beef between her and Chucky, classic.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Classic.
I'll go next because 2 of mine overlap with Jamie's. So I threw in some honorable mentions here that I just want to throw out before I do that. The honorable mention, the running up the hill sequence from Stranger Things. The bus sequence in Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the only good part of that movie.
Yes.
That was super fun.
Yes.
The look in Watcher.
At the end.
At the very end was just like the best. Nikisha, you won't know this one, but I'll just say Dead Strange in the Doctor Strange sequel. Like just let me rephrase it as full Sam Raimi. That just got me so hyped. Okay, but at number 3, I have the Orphan First Kill twist. At number 2, I also have the Barbarian tone change, the Justin Long sequence. But my number 1 moment of the year is the Pearl end credits.
Yeah,
that's a good
mine
one.
Too. Yeah,
just with that smile, crying, like truly unhinged. Hauntingly, wonderfully unhinged. Just delicious. And that moment of the husband coming home and then Pearl just there smiling and crying and like not knowing what to do, I think encapsulates their relationship in X so well. So like it was almost like the perfect like a segue into X like all those years later. But that was it. I still think about that constantly. So those were my moments.
Okay, y'all are this was such good moments, And I feel so bad. We've watched a lot of things, and I'm trying to just remember so much because so much has happened. I don't have any honorable mentions, but I will throw the ones that you guys have put out there as, oh, those were great moments too, like the sequence in Barbarian, and the bus scene in Texas Chainsaw, because that was a really great scene, and people trying to fucking film it and be we're putting you on live. Like, what are you going to do now? He's going to kill you. Like, what is happening? This is what this is. Okay. So my third moment is kind of like what Jamie was saying, in a sense of, it's not necessarily like a moment that happened in the movie, but just like something that made me feel like, woof. And it was when I found out that Mia Goth played both the Pearl and Maxine in X.
That's a good one. That's a really good one.
Yeah, that moment was like, whoa, Mia Goth, where did you come from? Where did you go, Cotton Eye Joe? Because that was fantastic. And, Brian stole my other one. Number 2 was the end credits in Pearl with that smile, because in watching her talk about in the interviews, she just, that wasn't a moment that was supposed to happen. They just said, we're just going to keep filming you, so just keep smiling. And then, whatever emotions happen when you're just trying to keep a smile or keep your eyes open and you start to cry or whatever happens, it was just beautifully played out and just a beautiful moment and a testament to her acting, because she's just wonderful. But my top moment that just made my jaw drop was sitting in the movie theater and watching the Cloud blood house sequence in Nope, when that blood was coming over that, and you could just feel the whole audience just like frozen in place, because it was so beautifully shot, so beautifully made, coupled with the music and everything that led up into that moment. And I just will never, ever forget the rain of blood on that house in Nope. Top moment for me.
That's a good one.
Talking about it again.
That's a really good one.
So good.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Cool. I love that.
Cool.
Those were great moments. We wow. Amazing. That was
we're nailing this.
But I really like your realizing that Mia Goth is playing both of them is a really excellent moment. Cool.
Yeah,
you know what?
Good time.
We have a lot of fun other random categories, and we'll get into those a little bit later. I think it's time to do our top 10, because I feel like we're going to spoil our top 10s by talking about like our other categories, if you will. But I think we should do our top 10. So this is how we're going to do it. We're going to start with our honorable mentions. Our 3 honorable mentions, and then we're going to go into our top 10. When somebody says a movie that's also on yours, but it's higher, we're not going to talk about it until a movie is at its highest peak on the list, if that makes sense. So, for instance, if I have, if VHS 99 is on my list, but Nikisha has it at number 1, we wouldn't talk about it until we get to Nikisha's number 1. You don't have to say what number it's at, but you just we know that it's higher. Okay. We'll make it a little bit more
keep track. Yeah, we're gonna make.
Yeah, I'll keep track. But we'll just say our 3 honorable mentions in general.
Great.
So these are my 3. I'll go first. These are my 3 honorable mentions. Okay. Nikisha's like, this fucking guy. He's type A crazy. Loves it.
I'm obsessed.
Okay, here we go. My 3 honorable mentions are at number 3, Master. I think about that movie all of the time, even though it was 75% of the way there in terms of like really getting it across. I think that director, I can't wait to see what she has in store next. I thought the acting was spectacular in it from everybody. I thought that thematically what it was trying to do was fascinating and a little bit more interesting than the same ways we've had race relations displayed to us in other movies. I think about it all the time. I was so happy that it was this year so I could talk about it again. 2, this one caught me by surprise. I loved Torn Hearts. Torn Hearts was so good, and it was so much better than it had to be. I would highly suggest that to anybody. It is streaming, I believe, on Paramount Plus and Amazon, the Prime Video. Really, really awesome. It's about two young songwriters, this writing duo, who find the address to their like country idol, played by Katie Seagal, who you may know from like the voice of Leela or Sons of Anarchy. And just things go haywire from there. Really good. And then my number one honorable mention is Fresh. So that's my number 11. So Fresh. Nikisha, you seem amped up and ready to go. What are your three honorable mentions?
Okay. At number 3 will be Hocus Pocus 2.
Oh, yeah.
Honorable mention, it did what it needed to do for the nostalgia. And yeah. Number 2 will be Halloween Ends, because I know.
Interesting.
Yes. Yes. Okay. And
Wait, was that on your most disappointing list too?
Oh no, I did it twice. Yeah. It was disappointing, but but it was good.
I love
liked
that.
the franchise.
I think that's spectacular. You can be disappointed by something, but think about it all the time.
I do, because the only thing that was really disappointing was the side storyline with Corey. It's like, get him out of the way. This is not what this is about. But in the grand scheme of like Halloween and stuff, I'm always going to be down for it, no matter how bad it is. It's just like y'all watching Jason in space. It's like, it's always going to be bad, but you're always going to want to appreciate it. Jamie's like, yeah,
that's fair. No, that's fair. That's fair.
Okay.
I'll give it to you.
Grand. Thank you, Jamie. Jamie's approval. Yes. And so my number 11 is going to be Bodies. It didn't fully make it on the list.
Interesting.
But I did have a good time watching it. I just think that it was definitely geared towards a specific generation, and that's not my generation. So there's that.
Wow. I'm excited to talk about that one.
Yeah.
Jamie, what are your honorable mentions?
Cool. So I have 6 because I have a problem and I can't eliminate things. So we're going backwards. So 16 is Master, which was already mentioned. For 15, I have the recent Scream reboot, remake, reboot make.
It's a requel?
Requel. Thank you. I was trying to work it out in my mouth and I couldn't get it out.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Number 14, I have the Marvel Werewolf by Night short with like a short film thing.
Yeah.
It was
34.
It was really fun.
Adding to his list.
Yeah, it was really fun. I was really surprised by it, but it was very enjoyable. So now we're down to 3. So for 13, I have Doctor Strange, Mom, aka Multiverse of Madness, because Sam Raimi. For number 12, I have Orphan First Kill, because I had a grand time watching it. It really surprised me, and it was just fun. I had a blast. And then number 11, just barely did not make my list, is Watcher.
Wow. Okay.
Wow. Based on these honorable mentions, I am very excited to hear everyone's list. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is what we'll do. We'll go Brian, that's me, Nikisha, Jamie. That's the order we'll go in. And when we get, we'll talk about the movie if it's higher and stuff like that. Okay?
Cool.
So I will begin. At number 10, I have Resurrection. Did anyone else see that?
No.
Okay.
I allowed you to take that one on your own, only because I knew the content. It's like very heavy about like intimate partner violence, and I knew that content just wasn't for me. So I
absolutely
chose not to watch it. But Brian really liked it.
I did.
His list.
I will never watch it again. Spoiler alert, I have a butt clencher category later on. That is in my butt clencher category. This movie is very tense. It is difficult to watch. I high trigger warnings for this one, but Rebecca Hall's performance in this is in the stratosphere. I had to stop halfway through, regroup, and then watch it a little bit later and finish it. Tim Roth is excellent in this movie. The end is super weird, but I appreciated what this movie was doing, how it was made, and what Rebecca Hall does to elevate this this content. So at number 10, I have Resurrection. Cool.
Wow. At number 10, I have Barbarian.
Okay.
So,
Interesting.
it was great. I appreciated it for what it was. There are just other things that fed into my slasher heart more than this one, but it's always appreciated.
I have that much higher, so we'll get there.
Yeah.
Jamie,
Yes.
you have same?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Jamie?
Oh, my turn. So my number 10 spot I am giving to, I don't think you guys watched this one, Deadstream.
No.
I had so much fun watching this. First of all, it's not dash cam, and so that already scores it so many points. The lead is also like an asshole. Like that's like the whole point of it. He's like an obnoxious streamer who got canceled. And the point of the film is like he's trying to get his monetization back. And so he goes to a haunted house and locks himself in with the goal of, getting his sponsorships and being able to make money again. And so it's like you're watching him live stream it with all the comments on the side. He's making just so many dumb mistakes, shenanigans. It has excellent practical effects. And it was just a really good time. I actually like it. I enjoyed watching this character, knowing that like he was obviously obnoxious as this like YouTuber, but there were still like some moments where you empathize with him, even though he like immediately undoes it. But it was very fun. And so like I know you guys haven't watched it, but check it out. It's on Shudder. It's a really good time.
Cool.
Nice.
Great.
Yeah.
All right. 9. From my list, 9 is Orphan First Kill. Is that on? I know Jamie had it in. Who had it in there? Jamie
Honorable.
had it in there. Honorable
I was in
mentions.
honorable.
Nikisha, do you have it on yours?
I do.
Okay, I'll wait.
List.
We'll wait to talk about that. All right, Nikisha, what's your 9?
You're not gonna hate me for putting this above Barbarian, but Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I don't think it
What?
Okay, interesting. That's the slasher love right there.
That's the slasher
Can't
love.
deny the slasher love.
You can't. It's just exactly what you need. You know what you're getting into, and as long as the kills are great, like I don't care what the plot is. Just give me the axe, give me the chainsaw. Not an axe. Wow, give me a chainsaw.
Well, Nikisha, you have to find it in the wall first.
That's fine.
Unbothered. I will find it.
I will find it. But yeah, that's my number 9.
All right, Jamie.
Okay, so I went rogue and I put a TV series on my list, and my number 9 is Stranger Things.
Sure.
It's just like I think that it keeps the lore gets really, really good. I know that the fandom has, taken some heat for its obsession with Eddie. May he rest in peace. But it's still a really great series. And that, I mean, you mentioned running up that hill. That is one of the best moments of TV, definitely this whole year.
Yes.
That's a good one.
Mm-hmm. A big pop culture moment for sure.
Yeah, huge.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful. All right. We're on 8. My 8 is X. Do people have that higher?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So Nikisha, what's your 8?
Smile.
Okay, I have that higher. Jamie, do you have that higher?
Yeah.
Grand.
Okay, Jamie, your 8
is also X.
Oh, interesting. Interesting, but we'll wait. Obviously. All right. My 7, and no one else probably has this. My 7 is Speak No Evil.
Oh yeah, I need to watch that.
Yeah, I don't have
Yeah, this is bleak. This is tension filled, but it's really well made. It's doing something that I've never seen done in movies, really, where it just takes like staying over somebody's house, like, but it's not your house, and just like mining that for tension and for awkward moments. And there's a lot thematically. It's about like miscommunication. It's about who we think we are, who we think we convey ourselves as, what people actually see, and how that impacts our politeness and our decision making and all of that, and how we take things at face value or not. It's pretty spectacular. It's a one-time watch for me. My palms were sweaty. My stomach was, in knots
knees
the whole
weak.
time.
Weak knees.
Mom spaghetti.
Mom spaghetti.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you for saying it, Jamie.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
But yeah, that's my number 7. Watch it on Shudder. It's worth it.
That's so funny that you said Speak No Evil for 7, because I was asking Brian and Jamie if I should watch The Watcher or Speak No Evil before we did this, but I ended up watching Watcher, and that is my number 7
Interesting.
on this list.
Okay.
It is the tension building is next level because things do not happen until the last 5 minutes.
Yeah, sure.
Of the movie. And you're just frustrated because you think that it is going to end a certain way, but it does not. And so there's not only kind of a twistiness of it, but also just the thriller of it all. So #believe women always is all I have to say about that.
Jamie, what's your 7?
So my 7 is Prey.
Oh, interesting. I don't have Prey on my top 10. Do you know?
Oh, no. Okay.
No.
This made my list because it really surprised me. A lot of my list is like my expectations being subverted, where I am just like a cynical moviegoer, and I'm like, you're not going to get any reaction out of me. And then I walk away pleasantly surprised. But I thought Prey was really good. I will also say this, I am not like an animal attack movie person. That is not the genre for me. That's Brian's bag. That is not mine.
I love a good animal attack movie.
But like, I thought the CGI for all the animals was really effective. I feel like it kind of stripped away all the like hokiness of like the very few Predator movies I've even seen, and just made it like this really good, tense, like, like him versus her, and like they're going to go at it at some point, and it's going to be really satisfying. And it was. So I really appreciated it. And I just like, again, we need more like diversity. We need more people of color. We need more marginalized voices in this space. So I'm really appreciative that they like emphasized that it was a pretty core component of like thematically of the film. So Prey made my list.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Cool. So at number 6, I have Watcher. So that's the highest on anyone's list.
Okay.
I totally agree with Nikisha. The tension building this is incredible. I hated this movie with 5 minutes to go. And then those last 5 minutes truly... Again, that's the point of the movie. Like, those last 5 minutes are the point. But I hated the movie 5 minutes to the end, and then those last 5 minutes, or it's really last minute, I should say, just made the movie, was the cherry on top, changed my total feelings about it. I think part of my reaction and hating it and then loving it within 30 seconds, is part of why I loved this movie so much. I think it's so well acted. I think what's her name, Micah Monroe, is just absolutely, she didn't have to say one word in this. You got everything you needed to know from her eyes and her body language. She is just absolutely wonderful. The sequence where they're chatting to each other on the tube or on the subway before like the end of this movie is absolutely astounding. And I'll be totally honest, Jamie and I 100% guessed this movie about 25% of the way in, and that did not ruin the ride at all. Even though it ended up the way that we thought it was going to end up in terms of who was watching and what their motivation actually was. We guessed that. However, did not take away from my genuine enjoyment of this movie.
Absolutely.
And I also, spoiler alert, I have a Believe Women category, because a ton of the movies this year are like that.
Yes.
I will, the thing I liked the most about this is that I think it was one of the more effective ones because it was written and directed by a woman. So, I feel like more so than a lot of other movies where, written and directed by men trying to convey this, there was something more visceral about this one than there was about a lot of other, quote, Believe Women movies that I've seen, especially as a straight white man. Like, even I don't experience this, obviously, but there was a difference between watching something like this and I don't have another example because but watching another one that was clearly like maybe directed by a man or written by a man. There was something, the director who, Chloe Akuno, I believe her name is, who's directing the new Fear Street trilogy next year. And she directed, the Ratma, one from, VHS, 94. Ratma. She just had such a grasp on the material and was able to easily make you feel the way that whatever, I forget her name in the movie.
Jules? Julia?
Yeah. Spectacular. Really had me on my seat.
Yeah. Was the remake of Invisible Man directed by a man?
Yeah, Lee Whannell, right?
Okay. That's the only example that I can think when you were trying to think of an example of women being believed and
if I were to make if I were to put together a 3-pack that everyone should have of like Believe Women from the past couple years, it's Watcher, Resurrection, and
Invisible Man.
Yeah. Absolutely. No, I agree with everything that you said, Brian, about this movie, because what I really liked it, without giving spoilers, is the fact that all of the things that were happening on the surface seem very subtle. And that is the thing that that is the point of the movie, that the movie is trying to make, is that it doesn't matter if you think what's happening to you might be subtle or might not be important or might be surface level. But if someone else is feeling uncomfortable, you need to listen to that. Yeah. And I think that this movie does a great job of that, because the things that are happening are not overt. It's not as kind of direct as The Invisible Man, for lack of a better example. Sure. But the things that are happening, like, she is feeling these things, she is sensing these things, and as a woman, and the life that you experience in this man world, you have to kind of take into account that you might be seeing things from a different lens and thinking something is not that serious or not that important. But women, when they go out into the world and they see and experience things, it can lead to other things. And I just like the way that the movie sets that up, that it was very subtle, but yes.
We should
I don't want to spoil it, but
we should probably do this movie. All three of us have seen it. There's a lot to talk about. So coming soon, we'll do Watcher.
Yes.
Cool. Well, Nikisha, what's your 6?
Okay, so I'm counting 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Okay, it is Scream 5 for me.
Okay.
And it's the slasher. It's the slasher in me.
There's a theme.
I thought that there's a theme. I thought this was great for what it was, especially considering how downhill that the other Scream movies were, like Scream 3, but then like it picks back up at Scream 4. And then I think that 5 does it justice. I dug it. I liked them bringing it into this generation and the melding of the things of the generations, as far as what's his name being like a cousin of one of the younger ones and all the stuff like that. Like I just really enjoyed that. So Scream 5 for me.
Love it. That is not on my list at all. But one thing I will say about the new Scream movie is, one, I'm glad it just brought Scream back. 2, it again just proves that Ghostface is hot take. Ghostface is probably the most. The Scream franchise could go on forever because Ghostface changes, 1, but 2, it's always meta commentary. So whatever is happening in the movie / horror world in general, Scream can comment on it. And even if we wait 25 years for the next one, we won't. March 10th. There's always something to say whether you like it or not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Cool. Jamie, what's your 6?
My number 6 is
Smile.
Cool. I have Smile higher.
Oh, work.
And Nikisha, did you say Smile already? Was that on your?
I did. It was my number 8.
8, right? Exactly. Cool. All right, we're on 5 now.
Yeah.
Number 5.
My number 5 is bodies, bodies, bodies.
Oh, wow.
Nikisha, 5.
My 5 is X.
Oh,
Slashers,
we all
man.
have X, right?
Okay, yeah, we've all X'd.
We've all X marks the spot. Triple X, baby.
X.
Now, Triple X is not a good movie.
Also true. But I am excited, even though we don't have a date for it yet. Maxine with 3 X's.
Maxine. Yes.
Which I'm
super excited.
Very excited for. But X was just a good time. Nikisha, why did you rank it so high?
Because it was reminiscent of a 70s slasher, and it did it in such a great way that was still put into kind of, our modern way of how we watch horror movies, but also is still just a basic, there is a killer on the loose. Here you go. We're going to put you in a situation in the woods, and who's going to survive? So now the fun is just like, well, who's going to live? And that's what I like. It's just, we're going to put people in a compromising situation. There is a killer. Even if we know who the killer is, it doesn't matter. It's like, who's going to survive this? And what decisions are they going to make to try to survive? And I like watching stuff like that. So that is why it is high on my list.
Man, you really are our slasher girl.
Yeah.
But
the simple things.
Yeah, the simple things. But also on top of that, the motivation and kind of who Pearl is and what she's trying to do and why she's doing it is so much more interesting and layered than a typical slasher.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Yes. So I need to put Pearl right here. I have my slasher shirt.
Oh, yeah, I didn't know
right now.
The slasher shirt.
So
Amazing.
I'll just draw Pearl on the side.
I love it. Jamie, what's your 5?
My number 5 is Fresh.
Oh.
Nice.
Nikisha, do you have Fresh higher than that?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So my number 4 is Smile.
Nice.
So we've all smiled.
We've all smiled.
We've all smiled.
Something I left off of my best moments was Jamie screaming in the movie theater. Like,
I had a moment where I was like, is it? Could it be me?
Smile was nonstop adrenaline. It was relentless in its jump scares. I thought Soshi Bacon was amazing. I thought that it was trying to say some really interesting things. Some did it well, some it didn't. But when it really came down to it, I just had an absolute blast in the movie theater. This, to me, that's a scary movie. Like, the jump scares, interesting. It's one type of scary movie, obviously, but like, I had an absolute joyous experience watching this one. A lot of my movies on here were based on experience, like my Orphan First Kill, it's 9 because of my experience watching with Jamie and just like jaws to the floor with that twist. Like just like pure campy, ridiculous fun, and Smile was just so much better than I expected. That trailer was so fine because like I'm just like, is this gonna be like just like derivative of like Ring or something like that, or is this going to make something of its own? And it absolutely was something of its own. And so much of the movie was not in the trailer, like the cat at the birthday party. Like I just like really dug that movie. So that's why it's my number 4.
I mean, honorable mention to like best horror moments, the marketing campaign of those people just sitting at all the sports events smiling was, I mean, like so simple, but like so clever. Got people, got their butts in movies. Like, man, just what a ride.
That was true.
And more movies about, you know, just how to deal with your mental health, and that being the horror of everything. Yeah. Even with like the physical manifestation of it that happens in the movie. No spoilers, but it's just nice. It's always nice to have a movie that we as a podcast can really dive deep in, because the whole premise was dealing with mental health.
Totally. Nikisha, what was your number 4?
Smile.
Orphan First Kill.
Oh, so high. I love it.
So high. Because of the ending twist. To me, that just rejuvenated my love for the movie in general. And it's like you said, Brian, you're just speaking on, you know, what are they going to do with this? You know, is it going to be a ring type, whatever. But
like from the first one, like
from the first one,
us? Yeah,
exactly. But the fact that this is a prequel will always make sense, because that's the only way you can go from after the first movies go beforehand. But, you know, it's just nice. I think that what they did with it was really great, even though some of the little CGI Esther moments were a little questionable.
Sure.
But for the most part, I had a great time watching it. And I think I'm going off of what Jamie was saying about expectations, because I did not have high expectations, and this exceeded it so much that I'm throwing it on the higher end of the list.
Absolutely. Awesome. Jamie, what's your number 4?
My number 4 is Bodies.
Okay.
Nice.
Is this the highest?
Yeah, that's the highest.
Yeah. Can I talk about it?
Yeah.
I think that the marketing saying that this is geared towards Gen Z is wrong. I actually feel like this is millennial horror, because everything that they're touching on is actually like, this is written, I think, by millennials.
It is.
Like the things they're touching on actually impact us so deeply, but it's just being presented under the guise of like Gen Z. Like
That's fair.
I think that millennials are way more concerned about wokeness and like putting attention to that. I think that like the attachment to our phones is also very much a millennial thing. Like, I think that there's a lot that's like presented as like, oh, Gen Z. And then like me and Brian were talking about like the difference between like Gen Z horror and Gen X horror, where like Scream is supposed to be Gen X horror, but also millennials have so much nostalgia for that. But I truly feel like Bodies is actually millennial horror, and everything, like all the choices that they're making at the end, they're I mean, spoilers, but they're not fighting over the gun, they're fighting over the phone. Like that to me was just like so quintessential. Like, that's a millennial thing. Like, yeah, but don't forget trying to kill her. I'm trying to figure out like if she's a liar.
So I'll jump on that and enhance that one level more, or you know, because it's I think because she said it is written and directed by millennials, and it's from the I feel like the millennials are infusing their point of view into these Gen Z characters. So like it's actually made for the three of us, because the point of view of the artist is a millennial, and a millennial's trying to write for a Gen Zer, and whether it was done on purpose or not, it was actually made for us because this is how we see Gen Zers. It's not necessarily that it's how we see ourselves, it's what we assume that Gen Z is like. So therefore, it is more of a millennial movie, like Jamie said, than it is an actual Gen Z movie. And that ending, no spoilers here, is truly the icing on the cake, the cherry on top. Like, that ending is truly so indicative of the fact that, like, jumping to conclusions, just like, you know, there was so much bubbling on the surface anyway that anything was going to set these group of people off. And it's just absolutely wonderful. I fucking loved this movie. Sorry, I got heated.
No, that was great. I think those are all really, really great points that needed to be said about it. I love it.
Jamie and I, when the movie was over, had a full dissertation with each other about, like, what is a Gen Z movie? What's a Gen X movie? What is a millennial movie? Like, what is the quintessential, like, Gen Xer movie, Gen Zer movie, millennial movie? And, like, it's tough, because what do we have nostalgia for and love? But who made those movies? Like, Wes Craven made Scream. So it's from the point of view of not a Gen Xer, but, like, I honestly, I don't know what generation. Maybe he's a baby boomer. I don't know what. But also, like, that's a Gen X movie that millennials have a ton of nostalgia for because it came out when we were, like, getting into all of that. Like, I think, and then I think that the one we came up with that is probably best millennially, Body's Body Buys is going, but it's Jennifer's Body. That's a millennials movie, 100% all the way through. Even though Diablo Cody is technically a Gen Xer, so, like, that's something, and Kara Kusama, like, that's something else to, like, think about. But anyway, this is it's conversation for another podcast.
But a great conversation.
Can I just say that Wes Craven was born in 1939, which is actually the silent generation?
Oh, wow, yeah.
He's pre-baby boomer.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
The more you know.
I mean, but also, that I think that also says more about him being able to understand different generations and, like, what's happening and whatnot. But
sure. May he rest in peace.
Yeah. Man, he was the best. Cool. That was your...
that was four.
Okay, yeah. So I'm on 3. My
top
number
3.
These are our top 3 horror movies of 2022 from what we saw. All right. My number 3 is that Jordan Peele banger, Nope.
Nice. It is higher on my list. Sure. But my number 3 is Fresh. Because it was just a surprise. I think, have we all freshed out? Or was it not on Jamie's list?
I freshed, yeah.
You freshed.
I freshed. I freshened up.
It was my 11. What was it yours?
Okay. It was 5.
5?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was just so unexpected. I didn't know what to think about it when I saw it. I didn't see any kind of promotion for it either. I forgot who even suggested for us to do this and cover it. But I just remember sitting there being like, I don't know what this is going to be about. And I loved every bit of it. So that's why it's on my 3.
Yeah, absolutely. I have that on another list very high, and we'll talk about that a little bit later.
Nice.
Jamie, what's your number 3?
My number 3... Oh, man, I feel like I'm going to get yelled at. My number 3 is Pearl.
Okay. I mean, top 3, yeah.
Yeah. That's wonderful. All right. My number 2 is our favorite lady, Pearl.
And my number 2 is Nope. So
my number 2 is also Nope.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now we've noped.
So
we've noped.
Based on what, so we're going to talk about Nope now, and then there are 2 movies that we still need to talk about that I'm sure are going to be stretched above all hours.
Yes.
But let's talk about Nope. Nikisha and Jamie, you had it ranked at number 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
Highest.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
What is, why? I mean, I had it at 3. These are all interchangeable.
Right.
I mean, Jordan Peele is should be indoctrinated into best horror directors of all time already.
Yes.
If they haven't already been knocking on his door.
Yes.
But and even though this is definitely leaning more in the sci-fi, it just like, oh man, the conversations that we had, like going into spectacle and what does it all mean, and not only like the big themes, but also just like the vision that Jordan Peele has, his eye. I have a list about practical effects, but I will truly. Every so often, when I have an intrusive thought, the intrusive thought I have is remembering the digestion scene, Jean Jacket, like digesting all of the people, and it will just be in my brain, and it's debilitating because it was awful. It was so awful, and that's why it ranked so highly on my list.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Did you see the TikTok of when he was filming that? Yeah.
Yes.
Fantastic.
And that's why I made my practical effects.
Yes.
Because I was like shocked. I was like, how did he do that? Like, it was just so uncomfortable, but it was literally a conveyor belt. How wild. Like, I don't even know where you get that idea, but like, great. Genius. He's a genius. I love it.
And the fact, I don't know what the technical term is, but I've know it's been thrown around of when genius. Yes.
Genius.
Of filming in the daytime, but then changing it to nighttime.
It's called the flipperoo, the old flipperoo.
The old switcheroo.
Flip flop.
Flip flop.
Flippity floppity.
But I thought that was also just amazing that all of the stuff that they filmed was in the daytime, and then they did all the little special whoop effects and made it to nighttime. So
love it.
Also, and I am not a sci-fi person. That's not my bag. It's not something that I generally seek out. But the spin of this with Jordan Peele's mind and the whole story of the spectacle and the acting and just the cinematography is just all flowed so perfectly. So it's something that I will always remember. I like it a lot.
I like it a lot. Okay.
I like it a lot.
Great. So we're up to our number ones. I already know what they are.
No.
So I'll start with my number one. Nikisha's number 10. And I'm assuming it's Jamie's number one as well.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Barbarian.
Yeah.
This is my favorite horror movie of the year. I walking out of the movie theater, I knew nothing else was going to top it. I understand why people despise this movie. To me, this movie is
And here's why they're wrong.
For me, this movie is the perfect combination of genuine scares, camp, allegory, thematic resonance, and all of that tied into a really fun, entertaining ride, with the added bonus of they don't show any of the mutilation to women. It is just through reactions and known. It is commenting on the current culture without being deeply obnoxious about it, like we've seen a lot of horror movies. There's a really nice finesse to it. It is deeply funny. It is super scary. And it really is an all-in-one. It's kind of like a trifle where you have different layers, and like each layer is a different flavor. But even when you scoop into it, they all start to blur, and it tastes delicious together. You're welcome.
Jamie, do you want to add to that?
Oh man.
So that was mine. And Jamie, that was your number one, right?
Yes, I concur with everything that you said. And honestly, so the piece about like not showing things, as I mentioned earlier during our Barbarian episode, like I'm just kind of over that. And I think that's why Watcher made it to my honorable mentions and didn't actually make it onto my list, because the the threat of something being so scary, as someone with anxiety, the threat of something being scary is scary enough, in my opinion. And like not needing to actually see it, and the way that they were able to like to put the viewer in a position where they're experiencing all of these things, where maybe it's a perspective that they don't typically experience as a woman. I don't need to like be put into, like, I feel this is like visceral, like this is just like existing. So I appreciate a movie that's able to like put, like, I felt it in the movie and I enjoyed it because I was consenting and agreeing to it. But like the idea of like helping people understand what it's like to always have to be on guard, and then to not have to actually like re-experience the trauma that other people have experienced, and just like it being alluded to makes it and still being effective. Like that's what makes this an excellent movie. And again, I can still appreciate other things like Watcher, where like, you know, there is brutality, there is beheading, like you're seeing gross, terrifying things. But I find it just like slightly more, I don't know, better. My words have eluded me, but like, I just think it's better that they were able to do all of that. And like, I didn't have to watch any of that stuff. And that makes it A-okay in my book.
It's absolutely fair.
Yeah.
You're like, Nikisha, I had it at number 1 too, but I put a 0 next to it.
Yeah.
No, but it does make sense, because there are a lot of things in movies that we've watched and talked about where it's like, okay, this is an everyday threat. I don't need to experience this again. Like when we were talking about the devil, whatever. What movie was that? With the when we had our special guest. I'm speaking.
Oh,
wow.
the devil I know.
Yes. Or
I saw The Devil.
Thank you.
The devil. Why do I got it wrong today too?
I don't know. Speak No Evil was coming to my brain. I was like, that's not it, but it's something with the devil.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That watching that's how I feel and agree with you, Jamie, because I don't like movies that this is already a lot and that we have to deal with on a day-to-day basis. So why am I going to sit down in the comforts of my home and watch this? I can watch something else, you know, slashery that's on a more make-believe level than this, you know. So I agree, and I understand why people like Barbarian. I understand why people don't like Barbarian, but I just think it's like in between for me. It's like, okay, I would watch it again. Yeah, absolutely. If someone said, "Hey, I've never seen this, I want to watch it," but absolutely, yes. But it wasn't. I also didn't watch this. Oh no, I did watch this in movie theaters. Never mind. I was gonna say I probably had a different experience because I didn't watch the movie, but I did. I also, just side note, completely forgot that we even watched the movie Prey, because someone the other day asked me, it's like, "Oh yeah, you like horror? Have you seen Prey?" And I was like, "No." And then I was looking at our list to make this top 10 to see what we covered, and I was like, we covered Prey. So as you can see, that was not on any of my list because I didn't even.
There's a lot.
But anyway, all that to say, Barbarian is just okay for me. But I love that you guys love this movie so much. Yeah. But Pearl is my number one.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, Pearl's just amazing.
Yeah. Pearl is just amazing. It's just, and you know, what really was surprising and what I really enjoyed, and I think I mentioned this when we talked about this, when we covered this, was all of the old-timey shots and cinematography and music, and how it just felt like you were watching an MGM 1930s, 40s movies, which are movies that I absolutely love and grew up watching because I watched TCM all the time when I was little.
Same.
So just having that coupled with the horror, coupled with the acting, coupled with the gore, it's just like a great time.
Yeah.
Pearl was absolutely top tier, great time for me in the movie theater. I was literally just engrossed from beginning to end. Great time. Can't wait for Maxine.
Me too. I'm excited to see how different Maxine is. Like if it's more like schlocky 80s or more like 80s drama or 80s like I don't know. I'm super excited to see what his tone is for that third one. That's gonna
absolutely.
Honestly, if Maxine knocks it out of the park, that when people ask like, "What's the best trilogy in horror?" Like, I think that the Pearl trilogy is like up there with Evil Dead. Cool.
Which I have not watched, so we need to cover those.
Oh,
wait, you haven't watched any of the Evil Dead movies?
Oh my god!
Sorry.
Okay, this is what we'll do. Let's do the Evil.
Shut it all down.
Let's do. This is perfect. We're gonna do all 4 Evil Dead movies in March for March Madness, and then because the new one, Evil Dead Rises, comes out in April. Perfect.
Oh, great.
That works
the whole
out
month
really
covered.
nice.
Team.
Beautiful. All right. So those were our top 10s. I know that we all made some of our own like fun lists, and then we'll do those, and then we'll end the episode with what we're looking forward to in 2023. I may have spoiled one just then. But Jamie, let's go with you. Why don't you pick one of your wild lists that you made?
Sure. This one's short. This one was worst mental health professionals in horror this year.
Yes, that's a great
And then
list.
after I came up with the category, I realized that none of the other bad therapists and mental health professionals came out this year. So number 1 goes to Sosie Bacon and Smile for having terrible self-care and not taking time off to process her childhood trauma.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Love it. All right, Nikisha, do you have a list?
I do, and it's also just short as well. Which we've already talked about, but I thought the best continuation of a chain or a remake, I put Orphan First Kill because it's great. That was a great prequel, and I think it added to the whole Esther universe. Which they need to actually continue on and make. And I put just for the goriest movie, movie moment, I put Halloween Ends, that tongue in the record player moment.
That's a good one.
Because that is something that I will never forget. And I thought that was just a great kill in a slasher movie. So I put that as my kind of goriest moment.
Love it.
Yeah.
What about you, Brian?
I have 8 lists.
Yes.
Does anyone have any more lists? Because I'll spread them out throughout yours.
I have one. I have like 2.5.
What about you, Nikisha?
No, you go. I want to hear all these.
All right. Animal attack movies.
Yes.
My top 3 animal attack movies with an honorable mention. Okay. Honorable mention is Nope.
Okay. Yeah.
Because it's an animal. Well, it's an alien, but it's an animal. 3 is Prey. 2 is Great White. Obviously a shark movie. I think I watched it on Shudder. It was way better than I thought it would be. Like, significantly better than I thought it would be. And then number 1 with a bullet, no question, Idris Elba in Beast, baby.
Oh, God.
The CG was really good. It's a perfect animal attack movie. It has everything you want from it, including a hunky Idris Elba.
That is true.
Really fun, really great. Love that. Okay, next up, I have my butt clenchers of the year. Movies that I clenched my butt the whole time because of the tension, because it made my palms sweaty. At number 5, we have Fall, about these 2 women who climb a radio tower and get stuck at the top. At number 4, we have Barbarian for the first third of the movie, when we don't know if Bill Skarsgård is good or bad. At number 3, we have Watcher because she's being watched. At number 2, we have Resurrection because it's deeply upsetting to watch. And then at number 1, with a bullet, with a knife, Speak No Evil. Truly the butt clenchiest of butt clenchers I've seen in a long time. Nice. I got a full glute workout on that one.
I just have to say, I've been seeing you use butt clench in your TikTok videos, and I'm just happy that that is now your go-to.
Yeah, it was a real butt
or a
clencher.
category now.
Yeah. And then I'll do another one. Let's do. Okay, these three movies are exactly what you think they are. They're like exactly what they deliver. What they deliver what they promise. At number 3, Fall. 2 women climbing to tower. Great. Yeah, that's what we got. Beast, it's a lion animal attack movie with Idris Elba. He punches a lion. That's what we got. And number 1, Violent Night. The Santa Claus David Harbour movie. It is Home Alone meets Die Hard with a sprinkle of magic. It has made my Christmas list, like of great Christmas movies, like horror movies. That was awesome. And then I have a couple more. I'll do this one, and we'll throw it back to Jamie. I have new standout characters in 2022. Some honorable mentions: Badass Santa and the Grabber.
Okay, Grabber.
And then, of course, we have the Smile Monster.
Yes.
We have the Mother from Barbarian. But the top 3, at number 3, Mabel. We love Mabel from VHS 99.
Mabel, my gosh.
We got Mabel. Got to say her name. At number 2,
write it in the book.
I was thinking about her this morning.
At number 2, we have Misunderstood. Really, really, really feel bad for him. Maybe felt bad for him more than any other character in any movie this year. I'm going with Gordy.
Gordy?
The ape from Gordy's Home.
Oh.
From Nope.
Gordy.
Oh, poor Gordy.
And at number 1, she got 2 movies. It's not fair. She got a sequel in the same year. It's Pearl. Pearl's an all-timer now. No question.
Yes.
Pearl's an all-timer.
Yes.
Pearl has made the list. Like, the poster behind me with all the, like, horror icons, like...
Just slap Pearl right on top.
Slap her on
decal of Pearl right on there.
Decal.
Pearl's on there. Okay, so that's that list. Jamie, let's throw it back to you for another list.
Sure. Here's a list that has 1 movie on it. One time watch, never again. That goes to Morbius.
There.
Yeah.
I'm good. Although I did like seeing what's his face do his dancing. That's maybe the best scene in the movie.
Matt Smith.
Yeah, Matt Smith doing a little dance, then doing a little when he becomes a vampire. Wow, what a duty movie. All right, so better lists. Okay. Best practical effects. I have 3. The number 3 slot is Orphan using platform shoes to make everybody else taller than Esther. It was clever. I thought that was a really clever. I mean, I know that like it wasn't only practical effects, but like I thought that was a really clever trick. There was a lot of other like camera tricks. But the photo on Instagram was really
hilarious.
I mentioned this one before. Number 2, Nope. That conveyor belt being eaten by Jean Jacket. Ugh. And number 1, I mean, it goes to the whole movie. I'm giving it to Deadstream. The whole movie is practical effects. There's some fingers up the nose that are very funny, that are gross but funny. Pulls out a whole corpse's fingernail out of his nose. Cool. It's gross.
Yeah.
But it's a really good time. And I only have one other list, so I'll just say it. Best found footage findings. Number 3, I'm giving to VHS 99. I just really enjoy those movies.
Yeah, me too.
Even though not all the segments are great, but yeah, I gotta give it to Mabel. Number 2, I am giving it to one of our most recent catch-up movies, Incantation, right? That's what it was called?
Yeah.
It was really unsettling and creepy, and it's not like, you know, it has the found footage, like things are moving and being creepy and all of that stuff, but there's a little bit of a twist at the end, and I guessed it, but it was a good twist, and it was still enjoyable. It was a good movie. And number 1 is Deadstream. Again, just making all of my silly little lists because it was a really fun time, and you should watch it.
Cool.
And those have been fun lists with Jamie.
Nice.
All right, here's some other lists. Believe Women. These are my top Believe Women movies of the year. My wow, I just totally had a brain fart. My honorable mention is Resurrection because she doesn't share what she's going through, so there's nothing to believe per se. There is one scene where the cops can't do anything for her just because like he hasn't attacked her or anything, so like they can't like issue anything. But like there's that. Okay, I will. Another honorable mention is Halloween Ends because Michael's back and no one believes her again for the millionth time. Another honorable mention is in there is Barbarian, just for that cop sequence. But really, my top 2 are Watcher and Smile. And then you also have Scream 5 and Incantation technically. In terms of like believing them. So there's a ton of them, but that's all I'll go with there. Here we go. Worst partner, boyfriend, husband, Hall of Fame.
Oh God.
Honorable mentions here are Corey in Halloween Ends.
Yes.
And the Tim Roth character, the X in Resurrection. He's an X, so like he's probably the worst of all of these people, but like they're not currently in a relationship. Well, okay, number 5, the Scream 5 boyfriend.
Yes.
What's his name? Jack
Huey
Quaid.
from
Jack Quaid from The Boys. Huey from The Boys. Number 4, the Speak No Evil husband. Number 3, the Smile fiance. Again, A-Train.
Yes.
Lots of boys on
A-Train.
here.
Yes, I will say, and I'm not an A-Train apologist, but I do think that there were very limited things for him to do in that situation.
Sure.
But he didn't handle it well. And then he was being a duty head about being like, I looked into your family and there's mental health.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want that to
Because
appropriate into my offspring.
He actually starts off good where he brings the therapist. Like he's like, I don't have the skills, and he says I'm gonna get a therapist. But then he leaves her because he's a duty head. All right. At number 2, I have the Watcher husband.
Yes.
Specifically at the scene where you find out that in the foreign language, he's been basically like he's gotten closer with his work friends because he's making fun of her.
Yes.
And then number 1, with a bullet, Sebastian Stan from Fresh.
Oh, Sebastian.
Yeah.
He cuts off a tushy.
He cuts off a tushy.
You
can't cut off a tushy and not make my list. Although, she can't be on the butt clencher list.
Oh, God.
Oh, my God.
All right. And then,
shut it all down.
And then my final list here is I have 2 lists that have sub-lists, obviously. My 2 MVPs of this year are just my overall this one list. My MVP of the year is horror movie title cards.
Oh, that's good.
Barbarian, when she crosses the threshold of the house. Watcher, where it's her in that huge picture window and it just says Watcher. Fresh, 30 minutes into the movie. Violent Night. Spoiler alert, Santa throws up on a bartender, and we get Violent Night. Pearl, that 1930s, like, sweeping opening. And then Smile, that, like, jump scare, huge letters over the screen.
Yeah.
And that's only a sprinkling of them. But the title sequences really have goosebumps, really get you into the movie. So I was super into that. But for our last list of this episode, hey everyone, what are you looking forward to? What are your top 5 with some honorable mention movies you're looking forward to in 2023? Nikisha, let's start with you. You haven't listed in like 20 minutes.
Yeah. How many do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, great. So I'll do honorable mentions and top 5. I don't think there's any particular order, but and I just thought of another one. Okay, so honorable mentions: Cocaine Bear. I don't need to say anything else.
Great.
Along the same lines, Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey.
Good one.
Still on the honorable mentions list, Salem's Lot, because I love a good witch trial moment. And
do you know what Salem's Lot is about?
Nope, I don't.
Okay, you might be disappointed.
Oh, wait, is it Stephen King?
Yeah, but it's
okay. Well, never mind.
It's not witch trials. Just
okay. Well, I still will watch it. That's fine. Okay, so then I think my top 5 would be Saw 10, because why not? The Exorcist remake, not a remake, continuation in the universe, who knows? But okay. Insidious, yes. Scream 6. And then top 2, we have Megan at number 2 and Maxine at number 1. So excited for all the things.
Love it.
Yes.
Jamie, what about you?
I was going to put Maxine on my list, but did they announce like if it's actually going to be out in 2023?
No, I mean, it just says coming soon. There were a couple on Nikki's list that don't actually have release dates, but like the assumption is that it's going to be in 2023.
Yeah.
Okay. So I didn't have it on my list because I wasn't sure, but I'm still going to move forward with my list. So honorable mention. Honorable mention, I have the new Insidious movie. I'm excited for Patrick Wilson's directorial debut. How excited.
Yeah,
for the fun time. All right. Number 5. I have Knock 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 at the Cabin.
Nice.
Hopefully it's a good one. Number 4, I'm going to rearrange these in my own list. Number 4 is the new Scream movie.
Yeah.
6, because I can count.
New York City.
Oh gosh.
The teaser trailer looked really fun.
Yeah. Totally.
It's going to be fun.
Number 3, because I am a Sam Raimi stan, Evil Dead Rise. I am excited. I hope that it's excellent. Number 2, I have Renfield, the Nicolas Cage Dracula movie.
Yeah, it's a good one.
That is coming out, whatever that means.
Yeah.
I want it. And obviously, I'm not going to not end my list with our new doll, whatever. It's Megan, baby.
Megan, baby. It's Megan, baby.
It's me, Megan. I'm gonna take care of you. All right.
So good.
My honorable mentions are VHS 85.
Oh yeah.
Knock at the Door. Knock at the Cabin. Knock at the Cabin. And the new Brandon Cronenberg movie, Infinity Pool. I could not handle...
That's the Mia Goth one,
yeah, the
right?
new Mia Goth movie.
Yeah.
I couldn't handle Possessor, so I'm very excited to see this one. Possessor fucked me up for days. Like, that's a never watch again movie for me.
Weak.
All right, my top 5. I have Megan at number 5. I have Insidious 5 at number 4. And I'm excited to do our Insidious rewatch. I think that's also a reason why I'm excited. At number 3, New York City, Scream 6. I'm excited to see how they do it with this new cast, where they don't have to introduce people, and minus Nev Campbell. I'm interested to see how it is, and we'll see what happens from there. Number 2, I have Evil Dead Rise. And number 1 is actually a TV show. It has a release month, but not a release date yet. I am the most excited for the new Flanagan Fall of the House of Usher.
Oh yeah.
That's my number one.
Yes.
I can't wait for that one. So those are that's what I'm most excited for. And I hope some of them are butt clenchers.
We know Brian loves a good butt clench.
Yeah. I have one more list. The most avant-garde, number 2, Hatching. Number 1, Skinamarink.
What was Skinamarink even about?
Skinamarink is about
Great question.
2 kids who wake up in the middle of the night and their dad is gone and their all the doors and windows are gone, and it's like this like weird hour and 40-minute fever dream of walking through a house with different noises and stuff from the point of view of a kid. It's super avant-garde. I found it, but it's going to be on. It's going to be on Shudder in January. Hey, Shudder, give us a. It's going to be, so check that out. But Hatching was super cool. I liked it. Didn't make any of my lists for anything, but it was a really solid movie. Finnish, really good. Like I finished it, and it's from Finland. And yeah, those are the 2 that didn't make any lists that I didn't really talk about. No Exit stunk. Don't see that. The Invitation is exactly what you think it is. It's now on Netflix. I just watched it today. So that's what I'll go with there. Cool. Back to you, Nikisha.
Fantastic. Well, I think that ends our 2022 horror movie year in review. Woo-hoo. You guys can follow us on all of the social medias, Instagram and TikTok, and on YouTube now. Hey, everybody in YouTube world, at Talk Horror Pod. And Brian, where can they listen to us?
You can listen to us wherever you get your podcasts. So that is things like Spotify. That's super cool. Things like Google Podcasts. And of course, Apple Podcasts. Rate and review us there. 5 stars, please.
And thank you. Yes. How should we end this?
Wait, what's
guys?
The best quote of the year from any of these movies? We've done so many.
Oh my god, how did we not do that? I'm just gonna Megan dance my way out of this one.
Should we all just cry into the camera for YouTube?
Oh my god.
or give a watcher look. Like, see? You should have believed me.
Yeah, you dummy.
Yeah.
Believe me. Dummy. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.